I pressed record.
I saw that. I checked. It's
Yeah.
real.
Good.
You're listening to the Precision Shooting Podcast, discussing all aspects of precision and long-range rifle shooting. This episode is brought to you by Impact Dynamics. And now, over to your hosts.
Well, hello and welcome to the Precision Shooting Podcast. I was just eyeing off Dutchy to see if he was going to jump in again. But he,
I promised myself I wouldn't on the way up.
Oh, this is episode 129. My name is Rusty, and sitting opposite me, well, obviously Dutchy is sitting there. How are you, mate?
Good. How are you?
All right. Over here is Bronte. Welcome
How are we,
back,
Rusty? Yeah.
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 Going that well. All right, and special guest tonight, the man who's too polite to say anything until we say who he is.
So we'll just keep moving on.
We'll save it for a little bit longer. Draw him out. Travis Harris. How are you, mate?
Very well, thanks, Rusty. Thanks for having me back, mate.
No problems, mate. Well, Andy, we got rid of Andy, so we needed someone to up the good-looking stakes, but
We got you instead.
Yeah, that's pretty unlucky. Is there not much around?
yeah, but that's all right. So be it. So well, it's been a couple of weeks since we've been sitting in this room. Anything exciting happened, gentlemen? Good.
Not a thing.
No, not a thing.
No.
Not a thing. That's not fair. You went shooting,
I did. Oh, well, I tried to go shooting.
didn't you? Shoot the comp?
I did. Well, I was there.
You were there.
I was there. No, I did shoot the comp, the Steel Slam at SSAA Practical Shooting SA. No, not
We've
that
done
comp.
that one.
Oh, we've done that one. Okay.
Yeah, I know you were there. You shot a handgun match. You didn't shoot the
Yeah,
actual.
I turned up for like an hour, shot a handgun, and that was it. So,
okay.
To fill the requirements of that for the good old South Australian Police Force.
I ended up running two comps. Two little ones, and they were good fun. I think we pinched a bunch of stages from Bigoton and a bunch of stages from Steel Slam.
Beautiful. Good work.
So that was a really easy way to run a match. Rondy, any shooting, mate? Any adventures to speak of? Any
Yeah. So I
giggling
went,
girls while you're four-wheel driving?
no, I went to go spotlighting. We drove
Okay.
around.
So just went out for a drive.
Pretty much, yeah.
Did you see nothing?
No. We saw one fox that
Okay.
saw the light and decided that it wasn't in its best interest to hang around and did not give an
time-
opportunity to let one rip. So
It's time to go thermal then.
that was discussed. Granted, we only went spotlighting for about 25, 30 minutes.
Oh, really?
It's just a quick drive and nothing here. Going home.
Yeah, right. Okay. Where were you to do that? Yep.
I went to Balaclava to pick up a
Okay, gotcha. We got to do something, and
hacksaw or bandsaw hacksaw thing.
with the almighty Jordan.
Yes, good
Yep.
old Jordan.
Very good. Dutchy, any excitement from you, mate?
Not that I can think of, but
No.
being unemployed, I thought I was here yesterday.
They'll just blend into.
Yeah, they all just blend in. I literally thought I was here like a few days ago.
Yeah.
Anything exciting?
Yeah.
I left here and came back.
Came back.
Yeah.
Good.
No.
Not allowed to tell that story. So I had a very busy Saturday. I filmed a video all day for 7 hours. Which
a long
was a long time to film a video, and I tell you what, I thought it was just going to be easy, repeating the same thing over and over and over and over and over again to camera. That took it out of me. The wife went off to the local the Monado Zoo, which you guys may be familiar with, but it's fairly like one of the big sort of outdoor. No, the zoos are outdoor generally. One of the big sort of safari type park type.
African
What
game.
do we call? Anyway, it's quite big, and she took two kids there and came back, and I reckon I was more wrecked than she was. That was full on. But anyway, we did a support video for the boys heading over to the US. So if you've got a spare 5.5 hours, check that video out because it'd be worth every. No, anyway. So that was my
So
Saturday.
how long does the video go for?
5.5 hours.
Why?
Why not?
Well, I had to say, go George, go Luke, go Ash 10,000 times. And it takes about 5.5 hours to do that, I found out.
Wow.
Yeah, right. So you didn't think of like the record it once and then
No, that's cheating. That's cheating.
sounds like a more efficient way of doing it though.
Yeah, I had some guests join in on FaceTime, and Will dropped in and sat here and joined me for a couple hundred, and yeah, it was quite fun, to be fair. Although you can tell my demeanor changes over the over the course of every 1,000. If you skip through every 1,000, you'll see it goes downhill and down. I mean, it didn't start overly high anyway, but it was an interesting experience to do. I'll give it that. It was a very interesting experience.
Well, hopefully it gets them over the line because it sounds motivational.
Well, Luke messaged me. He said, "Mate, that's some serious commitment. I hope I don't come last now." So, yeah, I hope he comes first. That'd be great.
When do they head off to the finale?
They head off just after the Australian finale.
Beautiful.
Yeah, so the Australian finale is the first weekend of November, and I believe that Crispy and Luke are shooting another match the weekend after the Australian finale, and then the US finale is the weekend after that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Commitment.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
so go and shoot a couple matches shoot a match to get some practice in, and I think Ash is doing a training course, or it's intention. I'm not sure what the boys have locked in at this stage.
They'll be listening to us.
That's for them. Well, it's a long flight. It's a long flight. I am kind of expecting like a reply video from them on the airport, on the airline, because I figured
Because it's 14 hours.
because it's 14-hour flight plus wherever else they go. So
What will that be like? 14 hours of thanks, mate. Thanks,
I was
mate.
thinking
Thanks,
like,
mate.
shut up, Rusty.
Thanks, mate.
Shut up, Rusty.
You should get 30,000 thank you Rusties back, shouldn't
Yeah.
you?
I wasn't thinking thank you, but
No.
whatever. So I don't know how long their phone battery will last recording video, though, or how long their neighbours on the plane will put up with that. But anyway, so there you go, guys. If you want to keep yourself amused on the plane, I'll watch all of it if you do it.
Yeah, that'd be worth it just to see what the neighbours say. Damn, Aussie's so noisy.
It's probably the best accent we've ever had on it. And by best, I mean anyway. Good. So we've got a question here from the Precision Rifle Australia group. The question is, I didn't even write down the name of the guy. Tim came from Tim. This is. Has anyone here used a Boyd stock? If so, do you rate it? Oh, Bronte perked up.
I've got two.
You've got two. Well, best you talk about them then, because I've had a couple as well.
They've been great.
Yep.
I've had absolutely no trouble with them. I bought them direct.
Back when the dollar was.
Back when
Yeah.
the dollar worked out and they were selling for $99. So they got around the ITAR. So I think they were landed for like $160 or $150 each.
Yeah.
So it was quite
Really
cost effective.
They're a laminate stock generally. They seem good. Travie, any experience? Or
No, not
Dutchy?
me, no.
I've never owned one, but I've shot rifles that have
Had them?
had them. They've been quite comfortable.
See, I've got the Pro Varmint or whatever, the Tactical or whatever. I think they changed names some point there because it helped them export them or some rubbish. It's great. The only thing, I was a little bit lacking in features as far as like adjustable cheek rests and all that sort of stuff.
Sure.
But you can get that as options, but it
Yeah.
then put it over the $99 US, so then you couldn't export it and without paperwork and all this rubbish. So overall really good.
Yep. Yeah. No, I think I've had three all up. And I've still got one on a gun that I've actually sold or been paid for, but the guy hasn't picked up.
So the blue one.
Yeah, hasn't
Yeah,
put any
oh.
paperwork in on yet.
Oh, well.
It's Eckert's done that, and
Yeah,
still waiting on him.
Is that a number one?
It's a Bruno Model 2.
Model 2.
Yeah, Bruno Model 2. And that was a really good upgrade. So if you're looking at me, I probably wouldn't use it for a PRS style gun. Not really any sort of significant benefit. There's other options better, probably for a little bit more money nowadays. But it's to upgrade from a crappy plastic,
Yeah, like
rubbishy
a
stock.
Hogue or
Yeah.
like one of the non-bedded ones.
Yeah,
bedding block.
yeah, it would be a good upgrade from something like that for sure. I think.
Yeah, I mean, I've got two on the ticket, both on tickers, and granted they've been glass bedded and all the rest, so they're probably not really original as such, but
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Dutchy, you've been doing some recon this last week.
I have. I've
Yeah.
been hitting the shops.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Just to get a better idea of a lot of the rifles that people talk about. and recommend, I went and hit the street and there wasn't any there. So I went into some shops and asked some people if they would let me hold them. They asked to see my license and I just ran away from the first shop. The second one was a little more welcoming.
Yep.
But yeah, had a feel of the TAC A1 T3X or whatever it is. That was really good. I'm glad I didn't hold that one first because it was the pick of the litter. Yeah, just in finish and, you know, there wasn't a scope on it, but it felt fairly nicely balanced.
Sure.
Also, Remington's offering from factory in a chassis. I forget what it is, like PCR or something like that.
Let's go with that. Why not?
Yeah, there you go. It was okay.
Good. You seem really impressed by that one.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. You know, it was in a chassis. It did exactly what they were saying, but also the Hauer Australian chassis.
Yep.
Offering, which was very comfortable. The one thing I didn't like about that was you had to use the plastic Hauer mag, which was a bit of a drawback.
Yeah, okay.
It wasn't AICS pattern or anything like that. So
Okay. Yeah, right.
Can they be modified at all? You know?
Do anything with a Dremel.
Good point.
Yeah,
Even more with a milling machine.
Yeah, there you go. They can be modified. From a really helpful team there.
Yeah.
Also got a hand on the Bravo, Hauer Bravo, but there was no barrel or action in it, so it was more just
a Bravo then.
Yeah, just the Bravo.
Yep. Okay.
But I'm going through the factory listing.
I thought you were going through the factory of KRG. I'm like, oh, that's pretty,
That's
pretty
impressive.
good.
How did you get away?
Yeah.
Get away there?
Yeah.
Well, it's just the magic of being unemployed, mate. The offers just come rolling in.
Oh, good.
And also some other one. What was it? Oh, the Ruger Precision. I don't know if I mentioned it.
Yes.
I held that. I held it first. I'm like, oh, it's not so bad. And then I held the other ones. I'm like, yeah, I can cross that one off the list. I think it's just the finish. The fit and finish on it was just low par for what they were asking. But from what everyone was saying, they shoot extremely well, and that's their saving grace. So, but yeah, it just didn't feel all that particularly nice. I didn't get a chance to get a hand on the Bagara HMR.
Yep.
There was none in the shop, so I'm going to head back. I get some free time, which is probably like all the time.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Around lunchtime.
After
Tomorrow
this,
morning.
Yeah.
No.
You're all at
Morning's
work.
taken up for recovering.
Yeah.
Sleep. I got some sleeping in to do. Yeah.
So, what are you looking for a production rifle for the PRS?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Nice.
So I had a few sort of prerequisites of features that I wanted.
Barrel, shoots, bullets.
Oh, geez, I should have written a list. shouldn't I?
Have you
I just wanted to look like the toughest guy out there.
Yeah, right. That's
Should have worn that
start.
singlet.
Yeah. They offered me singlets and that. No, I was just having a look because as I've been on this show, people have mentioned what they would recommend, and I've never felt them. Haven't been out to the range yet because I just haven't had the time. It sounds odd, but yeah.
I know.
Yeah. So I just went and rather than looking at them online and where you're like, oh yeah, that looks really nice. When you actually go and feel them, it's completely different. Like the weight is not what you expected, or the finish is just atrocious and it just puts you off, or they're just really worth every cent that they're asking for them. I just had to go out and check them out, I guess. And then I also held other rifles that weren't like detachable mag, threaded barrel, that didn't really meet what I was after, and just they wouldn't be very appropriate for the type of shooting, I wouldn't think.
Gotcha. Yep.
Have you given much thought to the Woomera?
Yeah, I have. It's just a little bit pricey. Like that would probably be up on, if not the top one that I'd have my eye on. I'm a big fan of that.
Yep.
Big fan.
Yeah.
But it's no one had one.
Yeah.
And at this stage, it's just at a price point, it's a bit too much to just get in and have a crack.
Yep.
But no, I didn't actually find anyone with one. That is something I've had my eye on. I do like the look of them. What is it? Is it an X-ray?
Yeah. KRG X-ray chassis. Yep. Well,
Yep.
I think it's a hybrid. I think
Yeah,
it's got
it's like
a fore end of a whiskey with a rear of a X-ray.
yeah, it's. I don't
Or
think it's a
something.
proprietary one, but it's
No, but it's a
Like,
little
yeah.
different to the standard X-ray.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I have looked at them quite closely, but haven't got a hand on them yet.
Very good. Well, during the last week or so, I stumbled across a photo, and I need to ask you something, Bronte.
I decline to comment.
Trav, can you give us a word picture, considering you're probably the most professional out of all of us, of what you were looking at here when I show you this photo?
What we're looking at there is a triangle stack of car tires and somebody trying to shoot between the center hole of the 3 tires that they make when they're all together. That looks like a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's it. Any more details you want to go into?
It's in a big valley, nice green valley by the looks of that. A bit of rain recently.
Okay.
Nice lush grass. Must be at the end of winter coming to spring, I think, based on that.
Yeah. Anything you notice at all, Dutchie, that might be worth mentioning?
Chamber flag's in and the bolt's closed.
The chamber
No,
flag's
it's
in.
not. It's not. That's an illusion.
Well, so first up, the shooter is Bronte. Okay, that's the first thing to notice. Now, as Trav pointed out, it's 3 tires, and they've sort of got this hole in the middle, and that's the shooting position he's had to shoot from. But just let's talk about his position for a moment. He's got the gun sort of resting on the barrel in the gap on the tires, and then he has one hand on the trigger, which I guess you need to do. That's pretty important. Well done, Bronte.
It generally work better that way, funnily enough.
That part of it you've smashed. And then there's the only support he's giving himself is his left hand is on the ground, pushing on the ground as your support. And he's got a sling, but he's certainly not using it in any useful way. It's just there.
Oh, it's not my sling. I was borrowed. I'm not going to use somebody else's sling. Come on, have some respect.
Fair call. What's going on there, man? Was that stable? Did you hear anything? Because it looks like you're just it could be all over the shop on that.
Nobody's going to believe me, but it was actually reasonably stable because the target wasn't that far away.
Okay.
But it was more about I was running out of time, and that was kind of just stuck in the hole on my transition from the top position on the way down to the bottom.
Any other points anyone wants to point out?
Was that shot in New Zealand?
Yeah.
Suppressed?
Yeah.
So have you got the suppressor resting on the tires there?
No, the suppressor's through the hole.
Yep.
Yeah, right. That didn't have any impact on the... No?
Yeah. Oh, it didn't. It didn't change much.
I'm just wondering
Yeah,
if
earmuffs
that's
as well.
Yeah, if that's how you normally wear your earmuffs, mate.
It's suppressed, so they're kind of more of a novelty than requirement.
I'd say you just put it over your eyebrows instead.
Well, it was more about the fact that there was quite moist. There's this thing in New Zealand called rain, and it reduced the friction coefficient of the head strap.
It's because you didn't have any PIDs installed, mate. That's why.
Well, you get
That's
that.
good. Anyway, I got tagged in that, so I thought I'd better bring it up. Good job. I know what's happened here is that's been the last shooting position, hasn't it? And you're just like, stuff it. I've got no time left, and the
Pretty
earmuffs
much.
have fallen down. And you just
Bugger it. Let's
Let's
it's
get it right.
raining. I can't see
Yeah.
the target. There's water everywhere.
But it's well done, Ronnie. That's a picture worth looking at. I like it.
Yeah, there's a few. Yeah.
Is it a little more? All right, well, we'll just leave it at one, mate.
That was a good event, but there's far too many people walking around with cameras.
Yeah.
Do you think that's going to come up as a position you got to shoot from in PRS now? The one hand sort of supported.
But you've got to have all you get. You've got to have your tripod, your sling, everything
You got to have
attached.
your sling, but you can't
Not
use
use
it.
it.
It's just going to be there to be annoying.
I think we might have to find a way to fit.
Or you got to borrow someone else's sling, but you don't want to use it.
You have to shoot from the Bronte.
It was actually more stable than you think.
Yeah, we'll put it to the test. It's going to be in a stage.
It sounds good. It's good fun. All right. You got Kerry to blame for that one, of course.
Oh, yeah. There's a few of those. Yeah, they couldn't quite get their heads around the fact that not all of Australia is on fire at any given time.
But all of New Zealand's raining, right? All the time.
A fair bit of it is, yeah. It's normally pretty damp, and they also have a ridiculously low cow density.
Okay. Yep. Yep. More sheep. Over
Lots
there.
of sheep,
Yeah.
but they have the paddocks that are very thick grass, could house a lot more cows.
Mhm.
Very few cows in them.
Okay.
So it's quite
You need
concerning
a
how
step
low the
ladder
cow
for-
density.
You'd need step ladders for cows. That's probably why they don't. But anyway, so
You can climb
this
the fence.
the main topic for this episode is far more appropriate.
It's sheep. No.
The Precision Sheep podcast.
Oh, let's. There you go, Kerry. There's a name for your next podcast. So the main topic of this is actually this is the episode that is the bag-isode. We're going to be talking shooting bags because we've got a pile of shooting bags on the floor over there. Oh, we got a couple behind you as well, Travie. You want to kick them over to
They're
the
everywhere.
keeper of the bags, which is Dutchy, because Dutchy's just like how you tried to kick a game changer. Anyway, so what we're going to do here, I think, is Dutchy is going to grab a bag and inquire about it, and we shall tell him when we might use it, when it would be good, when it wouldn't be good, what it's for, who makes it, all that sort of gear. So, Dutchy, let's
Well, I'm going to kick off with
kick it off with that one.
this one for the
Yep.
people who can't hear me. Can't see me and only hear me. It is a bag of some description. It is bag shaped. It has an opening at the. No, it doesn't. It doesn't have an opening. How much good of a bag if you can't put anything in it? What is this, guys?
We clearly have chosen the wrong person. Actually, no, you're
Clearly
asking,
chosen the right person.
you're
This
asking the correct questions.
This is
Yeah.
radio because you guys are just going, oh, yeah, that's a blah, blah, blah bag with a doodly pusher on it.
Well, the Doodly Pusher bag is a SAP run and gun bag. There's actually a couple more of them behind you. Dutchy, if you grab the black squarey one and the bluish square one, all right? So these are in 3 different sort of life periods. So this is the SAP run and gun bag. So it is as exactly as you described. It's like a rectangle sort of bag, quite puffy in many ways, and these have a strap that go over the top, as well as which has got a plastic clip on it, which you could clip on over a scope or something along those lines. It's got a reinforced bottom on it, which is like a rubber sort of pad on it, and then you've also got a strap that comes off with the what did you call it?
Doodle, I can't even remember.
Doodle pusher.
It-
No, that's
what it is, it's actually like a quick detach.
yeah, flush cup
flush
cup.
thing. So that's what that
I do
is.
know what it is. I just
Don't spoil the illusion. So the one that you've got, the black one you've got in front of you, is a brand newie. So it's really sort of puffy and
quite
takes up
firm. Yeah,
quite firm.
when you
but-
squash it, it doesn't crush down so much. It
Yeah.
sort of like takes up.
And what you're meant to do is you're meant to wear them in, and if you wear them in for a bit, you end up with one of the other two where they actually are malleable and able to be sort of pushed around, and the fill can go where you want it. I've really worked mine, which is the dark one, which is quite pliable, whereas Bronte's, I believe that's yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of a bit pliable, but
Still got the tag on it.
yeah. So still.
Oh, you're talking about the other, not
yeah,
the
that one
black
there.
one.
That
sorry.
one's
yeah.
Bronte's.
Yeah, from you, I wouldn't have said they were the same product.
No, and that's
To be
the
honest,
thing.
when look,
Yeah.
that just
And you get that real puffy, tight bag, and it sort of feels like, oh, that's not going to be useful, which is fair. It's designed to break down and go into the sort of shape that you want.
it says that on the tag.
Yeah, it's instructions and stuff. But the probably the major thing about those is they are ridiculously light. They
They
look
are.
like they should be a lot heavier, and they are very, very light.
Good thing about that as well is if you're starting the stage and you've got a couple of other bags, you can have this clipped into your front forend. Then
Yeah.
you don't have to hold it. You're not filling up hands with other products, so that's quite handy.
Yeah, or if you have it at the back and you need to move from one position to the other, you don't have to pick up the bag and the gun. You just pick up the gun and the bag goes with it.
It normally
With the
stays
flush
as a
cup.
rear bag hanging for my rifle typically, whether it's the run and gun or the other one, which is kind of the same without the other strap.
Yeah. Well, Dutch, you want to grab the camo little similar looking thing. That's the lightweight bag from SAP, which is basically a reduced model. Doesn't have the strap that goes over the front. Doesn't have the rubber reinforced on the inside, but the same feel, same sort of shape. That is just a cheaper version with a couple less features. I often will use mine at the front of the bag and strap it on. Depending, although often go on to game changer styles, but we'll get onto those shortly. Commonly used as a rear bag now.
Mm.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Any impressions, Dutchy, now that you play with them?
You'd want to break them in as per their recommendations, because that when they come from new, that just feels like it would be uncomfortable. Whereas these broken in ones feel very usable.
Yep.
I actually quite liked mine when it was new,
Okay.
and I found it quite usable. And I've kind of I've got two. One is sort of 3/4 flogged out, and the other one's got a little bit more life in it. That's the one with a little bit more life in it. And
What one's that? Is that
That's the one with life in it still. The other one's pretty flogged.
no, call it a colour, because that one
Tan. That's
Coyote
tan.
tan, I think they call it.
So will that feel actually sort of go to nothing eventually? The more you use that
I don't
bag, or
think
does
so.
it
I think
stop?
it's got a point where it'll just
Compress.
which is probably about where mine is, because that's been the same as, which is probably about sort of half the height that it would have come at. Well, maybe a little bit over half.
Yeah.
Close to half. Yeah, and it won't break down much more than that. But I have like intentionally broken that down as much as it possibly will.
Did you do that just through use, or like did you just sit there
No, that was
just
intentional.
crushing it?
Yeah, I just punched it for ages.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So, yeah, pretty much. It was by design, I guess. So these a bit more on the shape. These are rectangle bags, and so a lot of guys who have come from a bench rest or F class or that sort of maybe traditional shooting bags often have the ears on them, and so these they're designed to be put in the the back of the gun and shot in one way, whereas these, because they're rectangles, and this is common across a number of different brands and styles, you've got sort of 3 different heights you can run them at. So if you put them on their end, they'll sit quite high. You put them sideways, and they'll sit sort of mid-height, and then you put them flat, and they will sit relatively low. So you've got sort of options, and then as you squeeze them, the fill will move about, and you can raise it a little bit or drop it down a little bit as well. So all sorts of options on the these. I mean, this is not just limited to the running gun bags, but
And you were saying you can use these, or you do use these as a front or rear bag.
yeah. So if you've got this strap on the front with the plastic clip, so you'll unclip that and then wrap that around your scope, around your stock, and put it on over, and then that will stay. You can tighten it up however you wish to, and that will stay basically at the front of the gun. So you've got a front bag that locks in, and put it wherever you like. You could front it on the side of all sorts of stuff. So versatile in that manner. But not a heavy fill bag, so it doesn't sort of self-level so much. It's just a good breakup. Shall we move on? Do you want to choose something else sitting behind you there, Dutchy?
Oh, hang on. I'm just having a.
I've got some
look,
questions.
'cause I've not seen these before.
Okay.
They look like very well made. Like none of the stitching's coming apart. Or anything like that. Has any of you guys had any failures from these, like the buckle or the?
Not on these. I think you'll find in the collection of bags that we've got there tonight, for nearly all of them, not necessarily all of them, but nearly all of them, they're not dirt cheap bags. They're good brands, Short Action Precision or Bison Tactical or Armageddon Gear, Lovis or what else have we got kicking around? Maybe some of these brands we may not have here, but Tab Gear and Weebad, number of brands that are very good quality manufacturers of bags, and I don't think you find too many PRS shooters messing around with the Chinese knockoffs and they're buying bags that are good quality because they just don't break so much, and if they do, for whatever reason, they get them fixed or they get them replaced. Companies are good like that.
Do they do any other attachments apart from the flush cut?
Yeah, you will often find that you can do like a standard sling swivel.
Yep.
That's the bags often will just come with a strap of some sort, and you can then put the attachment on that you want. So I guess in theory you could sort of put anything that has a sling sort of set up on it. But you'll find the QD points, the flush cut points, are probably the most common.
I used one of the plastic, pushing clip things.
Carabiners,
that's the word.
Yep.
On mine for a while, and that was perfectly usable.
There's at least one bag down there with those. So, but yeah, common to use that sort of bag as a rear bag. Do you want to grab? There's another black and tan one at the back there. Yep. So it's another brand, similar style. That's rifles only, an FTW bag. That is a flatter, smaller overall sort of bag, fairly slim when you put it down, but yeah, rectangle again. So you're running 3, and that's again more commonly used as a rear bag. That one's got a strap on it, and the but it's not adjustable or doesn't have a clip on it. So what you do there is, as you're about to do there, Dutchie, is put your hand through it. So that now sort of will sit in your hand. So if you need to push it wherever, it's just sort of attached onto your arm. Yeah, so something along those lines where it's sort of always in the palm of your hand.
What's
and
it,
just
is
move
that
it
for
where
if
you
the
need to.
stage officer's done a stage and you don't want to break your hand when you punch him in the head?
Yep, that could be a use case. That's probably off label, but certainly could be.
We'll edit that one out. What are they all laughing about? No.
Dutchie probably said something inappropriate.
No.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, right.
So
It's amazing how much elevation you can change on the back of your rifle just by squeezing that a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's quite a nice little handy position. I've got a smaller square one that sort of.
have you got
sits
anything
nicely.
with you,
I
Travie?
do. I do.
Yeah, well, get your bags out, mate. Get your bags out. They're no good in your backpack. Although that's another bag that you could use.
Well, that's why I bought it.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. So
There we go.
it's a similar little one. Just
that a tab gear?
It's a tab gear one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, low vis. Sorry.
Oh, that's low vis.
Yeah,
Even better.
Yes, that one's good. So if you've got your bipod up nice and high, you can sort of grab that this way, sort of vertically, and just give it a squeeze to get your elevation
So this
on the back.
this one we've got. Actually, you introduced it a little bit there, Travie, because for those listening, they won't be able to see it.
But it's I actually don't know what bag is it. It's
in terms of the number, I'll
Yeah,
find the
the
number.
number.
But you just describe it.
It's a
little
little
bit about
square tab. Sorry, tab. I said tab as well. It's a low vis gear, little square bag with a strap over the back. Pretty similar to the one that we were just
a
talking about.
non-adjustable strap.
Yeah, non-adjustable strap on there. It's got a little bit of a tag for a carabiner or something on there as well. But it's again designed as a quick little rear bag. You just sit your hand through the back of it, and you can rest the rifle on it in a few different ways. So
Yep, and it's it's square.
square,
isn't it?
yeah.
Yeah, it's a good option. Now the fill,
It's got a bean sort of feel in it. This one,
yeah, Dutchie, grab one in each hand, mate, and tell us about the different feel that you got. That's a Mark II rear bag from Low Vis Gear, by the way. Is the number?
All right, I'm just going to take this carabiner off because it annoys me every time it hits the
Keeps hitting stuff.
table.
Yep. So there's the two different bags, different fill in them.
Different fill.
Fill. Yep.
what's in your bag? Do you know what's in that one?
Some sort of fill.
Phil,
No,
filling.
I'm not sure. Yeah. Collins or something. I'm not
Yeah.
sure.
The one in the FTW bag feels more coarse.
Okay. Yep.
Inside the bag itself is probably a little more holds its structure a bit better as a rectangle, whereas the other one is
Flops a little bit more.
but it's easier to
Squeeze.
manipulate it. Yeah, so I suppose one holds its shape a bit better, but the other one has more room to change its shape. And as Trav was saying, I guess that takes up.
Yeah, you can put it how you want it and move it around how you need to. Yeah.
It takes up any gap if you were on a bipod up high, I guess.
And that's the thing about bags is, this is probably will be said a couple of times, but the thing with bags, there's so many different variations, there's so many different options, and it's if you get the chance, ideally you want to get hands on with it first, and then if you really get the chance, you would like to shoot with it second.
I was going to ask this before we moved on. How many of these bags would you guys have, and would you recommend getting a selection or just trying?
I'm going to delay
selection?
that question to after we get through these because you'll see the different types.
Because these are I was just going to ask this on
the rear bags?
particular rear, like fairly simple rectangular bag. Like how many of these would you?
Oh, okay.
Not like
always wanna-
the other ones are like for me a complete separate.
We'll talk into a collection later, but how many rear bags would you get, Bronte? What do you think?
I've got 3 bags that I use on a semi-regular basis as rear bags.
As rear bags,
Yeah.
Travie?
Yeah, I've only got the one actually, but I use one of my front bags as a rear bag occasionally when I'm sort of want a nice solid prone position where I can just sort of let the gun sit there. So just one for me. Really.
I'd probably say one as well. I have a couple, as you see, but I would probably use one as a rear bag. for 90% of the time, but with occasionally swapping out one of the front bags for a rear bag.
The biggest reason for that, I think, is consistency. It's one of those products you really want to know sort of what way you want your bag around, how you can manipulate it to get it to do what you want. If you've got a few to choose from, you might sort of select the wrong one for a wrong stage or something like that.
If you know them really well and you shoot a lot and you get to know where they work well and what they do well, sure, have a few. But if you're better to have one and get really good at it. But yeah, we need to talk about it as a collective sort of aspect to it.
So what sort of stage would you use these on? Like if you were asked to shoot prone or
prone.
Pretty much.
from a barricade, would you use it?
It depends
to
if you've got
flatten out
a
a barricade or make
if you've got a
it
rear support.
Yep.
If anywhere where you can essentially get a rear support down, whether it's a bench or off a roof structure-y thing, anywhere where you can get a rear support. Prone's obviously the logical one that everyone uses, but
Yeah, if you're on a tripod or something like that where you got your front of your gun secure and you want something for the gun to sit on under your shoulder, again, you can control the height of the gun from on your shoulder with something little like that. Just sit it on there, rest it on the front. So it is pretty versatile, but
Would you make that decision of what you're going to use from reading if you get the stage briefs prior, or if you were getting the stage rundown? Would you make that decision?
I think I think that you would know your bags work in X positions. And so your stage, if you got your matchbook the day before or whatever, you would work out the positions you're going to probably build.
Yep.
Subject to seeing the barricades and such, but you're going to work out your positions that you're probably going to build, and that will give you an indication what bags or whatever you may utilize. But there's no, you wouldn't. No.
I guess my question is leading to, you wouldn't go, well, that's my rear bag, I'm going to carry it around for every stage.
No, you sort of select when you want to use it.
often one of those sat bags will be hanging on the rifle anyway.
Sort of like...
Because the thing with those is you can stick them under your arm if you need to fill a gap, and they get used for more than just a rear bag to support the back of the rifle.
Yeah, like even if you chuck one down to lean your knee on or something like that. Like, would you guys carry them to...
I've never actually thought about doing that, to be honest. That's a
Yeah,
very
it's been
good
done
point.
before.
Yeah, it's been.
But normally you'd use like the pump pillow or something like that if you wanted to fill big gaps.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Choose something else, mate. Let's check something else out.
Oh, Jesus, what is that?
It's not Jesus.
Dirty
It's a
old
bag.
sock.
Righto.
That is quite heavy.
Yeah, tell us about the bag you've picked up, mate.
It's like a cylinder shape. Probably...
220 mil long.
Yeah, I was just thinking, who's our audience? Do they talk in inches or the metric system?
Well, just under 10 inches then, or 9.5 inches.
There you go, thank you. It's about 9.5 inches long, probably 3 or 4. What's that, diameter? That's diameter, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it'd be
Yeah,
3 or 4
diameter.
inches. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
3 or
about
4,
100,
you reckon?
100,
Yeah.
125 mil, so 4 or 5 inches.
Yeah, but it's the filling in it is more like really fine sand,
Yep, that
not
is.
like regular beach sand. This
It's the
is
la-di-da sand.
the flash sand you fly to islands and to feel it massage your feet like this. What do you? It's got one strap on it. I don't know.
Yep.
Fixed strap.
So the bag that we're
non-adjustable.
talking about is the short action precision again. Solo sack.
It's quite a new bag, that one, isn't it?
Relatively.
In the last
Yeah.
sort of 18 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's very solid when you put it on the bench.
Yeah.
And go to lean on it. That's
So just pull the top up there, Dutchy. So we'd probably say it's about a 3/4 fill. Would that be about right? Where the fill comes to. So you've got quite a bit of area there. So that as you say with the sand, it's really solid. It's really, really solid. And so if you were to put that, chuck it over here, if you would be so kind. If you were to put that on something like, I'll put it on the arm of the chair here, that will level out quite well. And it's like it works as a barricade bag. Gives you a really solid platform to use without being huge. But I don't know if you've used one of these at all, Bronte, but as I'll pass it over to you, and you'll feel the weight of it. Yeah, about 3 kilo.
Yeah, it's quite dense.
It is.
so that you were saying you'd put that on a barricade as a flat shooting position, for example, not its only use,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
a particular use.
Absolutely. And so they've been popular for guys who, come across a stage or whatever when people can only have one bag, because they work well as a rear bag, although you got to get to know how to manipulate them well. So you sort of grab the empty part and sort of take up the slack in there. They don't flex as much as these other ones where you can squeeze on them and they'll go up a little bit. You've really got to sort of build them into a position. But they work well as a rear bag, and they also work well as a front bag. They sort of do both quite solidly without having a huge, big, chunky front bag. So they've been popular in those sort of scenarios. You see a lot of guys run them. If they're only going to run one bag for a match, they'll run that one. For matches I've seen anyway.
And what was that one called, sorry?
It's a solo sack.
Solo sack.
Yeah. So the latest one of them just came out, which is the canvas material, and it's waxed as well. So it's got a bit more grip.
A waxed sack.
A waxed sack. Yeah. And I'm
There you
pretty
go.
sure that was intentional. Grab something else, mate. We've moved on from the wax sack.
That solo sack is actually really quite wide as well, isn't it? Like when it lays down on the
splays
side,
out.
if you had that on a sort of PRS skill stage 2 barricade or something, it's
You get
quite a
lot
big
of surface area. Yeah.
It would actually shoot all right using it over a fence. If you had
Yeah,
like
that's
a
what
wire
I
fence or
was
something like
thinking
that, I think you'd actually get give you a reasonable.
You could hang your sack on the fence.
If you hung your sack on the fence, you would have a good position to be in.
Yeah.
Just just putting on a little gorilla pod here, and
A little gorilla pod struggling under the
it
weight.
certainly is. It's gone. Yeah, so it's got the
Can't
downside.
hold up the sack.
Yeah, it's a heavy sack. It's a heavy sack. All right, what is he going to get next? What's he going for? Oh, that would be. Oh, Bronte, this is your one. You can. So actually, Dutchy, you give us a description of it, and then we'll reveal the name of it. And
You don't want me to reveal the name?
no, not yet. No, tell everyone what you're looking at.
It looks like a giant rear bag with two quite large ears if you've got it up one way. But if you flip it over, it looks like the kind of thing you could hang on a gate or a fence quite easily as well. It's got a handle each side. I don't know that's where you fill it. And then it's got a large Velcro strap over the top. Two separate straps that have just stuck together. So it's got two straps over the top.
Yep, that's it, mate. And there's a pink one behind you as well, a different variation of it. Bronny, what bag is that, mate?
That's the second generation game changer. So it's not the original one. I think it's it's not it's the Armageddon one. I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Well, this is a similar design, except it doesn't have the Velcro strap.
Yep.
Velcro straps across the top. It's still got the two handles. Much lairier colour.
It's bright pink.
So you were saying this is the Gen 1?
That's
Or is that
basically a Gen 1? So the original one was made by Reasor Precision, and I had one of those. And off memory, they only had one strap.
Yeah, they did. And I think they were a fraction bigger, like longer and wider.
Don't think they're same as this. The pink one here, which might be a touch bigger. Not sure. So these are
It's a bit wider.
These are one of the things that they're probably one of the first bags that came out as a barricade type bag, as the two lips on it that would wrap around anything you put on it, and they really were. This is one of the things that I don't get upset about being called a game changer, because
It's actually probably the only thing that is legitimately a game changer.
it really did. It really changed how people shot a lot of this stuff significantly. So, Dutch, if you got one of these suckers and you put it this way, you end up with a huge, big sort of area there that you can rest your rifle on. You could leave your gun on there and wander off, and it'll still be sitting there when you come back, as long as no one took it. And then you can utilize these as rear bags. So these are one of the ones that we were talking about previously, saying that we might use this as a rear bag often because you've got these sort of two 2 ears to it at the
Yeah, they
bottom.
don't look like they're designed for it to be a rear bag.
No, so you
as
could
such,
use it
but-
as a rear bag like that, but that's pretty cumbersome. A lot of guys will run it on the side like that and splay one of the I don't know what we call them these things, the legs
Ears.
on it.
They
the
look
ears
like
out.
Wings.
Right, the wings on it, and utilize one of the wings and then adjust where on that wing they sit the gun to adjust the height of it, and then they can push and squeeze and do all those things to get it.
Well, I often run mine on the side,
Or on the side, yep,
and then you can kind of have a fat end and a skinny end, and you can kind of move it
Yep.
back and forth.
yep.
And between a bit of squeezing and manipulation, you can get your
And I've seen guys run this as a barricade bag on the side because it got the right height. It got the height better than it did the other way around. What's the idea of the straps there, Bronte, on yours?
so you can, if you're feeling brave, clip it to the front of your rifle. But
Yep.
obviously, it is quite heavy. That's probably it's a plus and a minus with the bag, to be honest.
A lot of the current versions have gone away from that. Yeah, they're less inclined to have those straps on there.
I don't mind the straps. I've actually, this is actually my favourite spotlighting bag.
They're
And
so
I've
good for that, aren't
Been
they?
in a couple of situations where, on the back of a ute that had a cage around it, so it become and the cage protruded higher than the roof of the ute, so the bipod thing kind of all just
Yep.
fell over
No good.
basically because you couldn't, you'd be pointing towards the bonnet basically. So I ditched the bipod, hooked that thing on with a strap. Gun was heavier than anything else you ever want to carry around for an extended period of time, but
Yep.
drop that over the edge of the cage, and it's on.
Good to go. Good to go. We should also mention actually. We'll backtrack for a moment. The short action precision gear that we talked about before, you can get from Scoped Out Projectile Warehouse, which obviously linked to myself. These the game changers or anything from Armageddon gear you can get from Lovis gear. So make sure to check them out. I don't know where you get the FTW gear from Rifles Only. I'm not sure. Not sure. You might have to order it directly from them. Now, Travie, you just pulled out a bag and you sort of waved it around a little bit. What's going on there?
So this is another sort of variation of a similar style bag. So this is the Weebad Fortune Cookie. So again, it's same sort of concept of a bag. It has two little what do we call them, wings or legs or something that sort of comes off the end.
Winged legs.
And again, it's a very similar shape for throwing over a barricade or using upside down as a rear bag.
Yes. Chuck it over to Dutchy. Give him a feel of the difference.
Probably one thing that stands out with that one is that it curls back on itself a lot more than the game changer.
Yeah. What do you have you used both a fair bit?
I've used the Armageddon gear bag a couple of times
Yep.
when I was in the process of looking to buy a bag.
Yep.
And I'd used the Fortune Cookie maybe once or twice as well.
Okay.
And I went with that because of its ability to wrap around onto things. Again, same sort of thing. If you're out spotlighting or on a roll bar, it grabs onto it quite a lot.
Sure.
It's probably a little bit too big to use the rear bag, but if you want to sort of lay there prone and free recoil it, you can do that quite easily.
Yep.
But I find if you sort of grab the Fortune Cookie, throw it up, and it just locks onto something. So
Yeah, and it wraps
it's just
around.
one really quick motion, and it will hold on there. So if you're
It's
on
a
a
great
on a
demonstration
barricade,
you're doing.
yeah, it's good for radio.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're on a stage and you want something that's going to move quickly, I like it. It works for me.
Yeah.
It's probably a little bit thicker in the middle than the game changer bag, so
Yep.
you've got to be careful of height on
Yep.
some of the barricades. But again, it gives you a nice solid flat shooting platform on the top. So
And so this is the contrast. I don't know if you've used one of those Fortune Cookies at all, Bronte. I've got one that
really played with them.
someone else is using at the moment, but I wasn't a big fan. I used it. It was good, but I would find myself coming back to the game changer because I liked the way it sat better. This is why if you're listening, you're thinking, oh, what bag should I get and this and that. If you can get hands on with them, rather than buying all of them, that is a really good way of doing it because there is nothing wrong with either of the two bags we're looking at here, the Fortune Cookie or the Game Changers. It just comes down to how you use it and your personal preference of the two.
Yeah, I'm sort of just having a look at it and putting in similar positions that I'd use the game changer in, and I don't know if I get along with it quite as well. But I think that might be a familiarity thing too.
There is an
But-
element of that for sure.
I can see. I think they make a smaller version of this as
they
well,
do.
don't
Yeah,
they?
it's probably a third the size, I think.
I think that would be
it's
a
quite a lot
interesting little
smaller.
bag.
Yeah, so that's become a really popular style of bag. Is the what do they call them? The mini Fortune Cookie and the pint-sized game changers are the two models, and they're about somewhere between a third and a half sort of size of those, these full-size ones, and also about a third to the half of the weight, which is a big thing because these.
Yeah, the weight, they're quite bulky. And you were saying if you've got it strapped to your rifle, it's not something you really want to be carrying around all that long.
It's a pain in the it's one of those things. It's a double-edged sword. It's a pain in the ass because it's heavy and you don't like carrying it around, but it makes it so much more bloody stable. It just locks in, and the weight kind of is a necessary evil to get the bag to perform at its best. But nobody volunteers to carry the game changer around.
That is one thing I've come unstuck with a couple of times. If you're on a particularly narrow barricade or you're sort of struggling for height, and you don't quite get the bag locked on properly because of the weight of it, and you've got the rifle on there, and you don't want to flag yourself because you're working at the front end of the rifle, you sometimes got to be very careful about actually getting the bag back over the barricade into a safe position. Otherwise, it sort of can want to fall off a little bit. So
yeah, I think that's what I struggled with the fortune cookie is that it rolled a bit too much for me, and so that's probably the main reason for it. Which I'm sure can be overcome with use, but
familiarity.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, it would depend on the purpose of it, wouldn't it? Because for spotlighting out the back of a ute on a cage, I feel like having it secured to your rifle would probably be a benefit.
Could see that.
And then the one where you can't secure it is more likely to fall off.
Yeah, it's not even. I even use this if you your
shooting
power
out
windows.
Door. Yeah.
Like, actually just put the window up a little bit, hang it over the window. It's all good.
You got electric windows. You can't be stuff lifting it up anymore. Just no, down a bit.
Travie, you said sometimes these bags.
That's shooting in style. I'm impressed.
Mate, climate control and electric windows. I wouldn't go shooting without them.
Quality. Travie, you said that some of these, sometimes these bags will get a little bit big if you're in a narrow area. I've certainly seen where guys have put it in, try to put the gun in, they can't actually physically put the gun in the port because the bag takes up so much room. And that's why I think where those smaller ones, or perhaps some of the rear bags that we looked at before, sometimes, Dutchy, when you're looking at a stage, you think, oh yeah, I'll use my game changer on that, and then you look at it and you go, whoa, that's tiny. And so you'll use a small little rear bag in there as a front barricade bag to sort of buffer against the barricade. But you can't fit a big one in.
Would that be something you guys had planned for as you were on the stage, or would it be?
It can be.
You watch someone who's got the same bag, try and put it in the thing, and go, that ain't going to happen.
Yeah,
it very quickly becomes trial and error.
Yeah,
you learn once, and then you'll be on a stage, and if you get that wrong or you select the wrong bag, you just ditch it and run without it. So you don't very often have time in the PRS to make a change on a bag, especially if you've only got one bag on your itinerary. So, but yeah, it's one of those experience things. You got to get to know your bag, what sort of barricades you can use it on, and that's just a time based thing. I guess you'll watch a lot of guys use a lot of game changer bags. That's probably the most prominent one at these sort of events in Australia. So I guess if you were looking for your first bag, you come into a PRS and you go, and what are people running? That would be it, I guess. And then you learn to use it from there. Or you just pick something and make it work for yourself.
Absolutely. Grab one of those big bags from behind you. Yeah, those ones there. So these are sort of not the next level, but these are just a different concept of doing the same thing that a game changer does. Do you want to talk about what it looks and feels like?
It looks like a stool that you would give to, I don't know, some sort of fluffy animal. It's got 4 legs. Come and sit down. It's nice and soft. You won't get hurt, don't worry.
I think you
no sharp edges.
You hunt differently to the rest of us, mate.
No, I just don't design. I'm trying to just describe it with for people who can't see.
I like
Nailed it.
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it looks similar to nothing. It doesn't. No, it looks like a chair or a table for for stuffed animals.
So if I told you it was called an udder, a tactical udder from Bison Tactical,
that would work.
That would give you a bit of some words to use. It's got these 4 legs that sort of splay out like teats. Sort of. It's called the tactical udder. So you got a couple of straps on top, and then you've got a couple of grab handles on either side. The other thing that is subtle on these is when they first made them. So to back up for a second, so it's similar to a Game Changer, but it's got 4 legs rather than 2 wings.
Two wings. It's got 4 legs.
4 legs.
Yeah.
So probably runs fast, doesn't fly as well. And so this one here, you'll find that because it hasn't got that additional structure of like a larger wing, they do splay out a little bit, and the first models would then lose a little bit of sturdiness across the top. All right, so you put it on something like the arm of the chair here, and you would sort of be sinking forward, sinking back. You'd lose a bit of that. So this version, which is the Fat Boy version, has 2 alloy sort of. You can grab them out, Travie. See if you can swing that around there. And you've got these sort of reinforcement arms that are sort of sewn in. And so what that will do is it'll give you a lot more structure on the edge of it. Should you choose to use them, you can actually take them out and have it a little bit more floppy, or you can leave them in and give a little bit more structure to it, or you could take one out and leave one in, or whatever it is. So this is, I guess, where bags are going. They're getting quite involved.
That makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it does make a
Wow,
big
that's-
difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like you said, that fill really drops away on the front without it.
Yep. So yeah, with that, you do find they drop away a fair bit. So these are about a 4 kilo things. They're a bit bigger, bulkier, heavier, but they are very, like, if you come up to like a star picket or a star dropper, depending which state you're in and what you call it,
Or Waratah if you're in a different country.
or Waratah if you're not here. And so a Game Changer has a tendency to flop side to side off one of those, whereas this one here, you actually, in between the 4, you'll see that there's a reinforced part that it'll sit on, something like that, a post or whatever, and it's fairly stable. What do you think?
It looks like, those when you used to buy 6 packs of beer in Dolphin Killers. It looks like. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. 2 of them are missing, and you're like, I'll just chuck them up here.
That's right. That's right.
Tactical udder.
Penguin chokers.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. 6-pack of
Sorry,
fairy
I-
penguins.
Yeah. 2 penguins down, or are you 2 to go? Who knows?
Right. So give that one the approval. Good.
I got a 4-pack of penguins here.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the one I do know a bit more about this bag because it is one that I do sell, the Boston Tactical stuff. But yeah, they're good. The other one is the Comanche bag, which I know that Jim has in low vis gear, which is a similar style. I think it's a bit smaller overall. One of the other things that Bison do.
Sorry,
No,
for practical application of what
Yep.
this would be useful, would it be, you said on the top of a star picket?
So it works the same as a Game Changer, where it'll flop one side and the other and give you a really large, stable platform.
Yep.
But if you just chuck us that Game Changer for a second. So if you were to put that on a single sort of spike, you get a lot of left to right
Yeah.
roll.
Yep.
Whereas if Bronte's got it on his hand there, because you've got sort of
Better
even
weight
weight
distribution,
on,
yeah.
distribution.
Got those 4 penguins just choking to death there.
That's right. You will have a much more stable platform on something like that, and then if you do put it on a standard barricade, it will sit both sides. Probably the other thing that those 4-legged bags, brand aside, will do quite well. If you flip it the other way, Bronte, so you've got it as you would on a barricade, and you kick the 4 legs out, it will sort of splay down and sit fairly flat, and actually be a really good front bag to shoot off prone or off a log or something, bench or whatever.
And how does the 4-legged deal work on a fence or gate still
Same
really
thing,
well?
just two front, 2 back, and that's where that
Oh,
reinforcement.
I know how they work. I mean, like,
Well, why'd you ask? They
now you're being literal.
sorry.
like,
Oh,
if
they're
it-
not actually penguins?
I don't know. I'm not a bird specialist. Or a penguin's fish. There you go. Question for the people at home.
Are penguin Patreon supporters, are penguins fish? Is that really
Because they could stay out of water for a long time.
So they're either really bad at being fish or they're birds.
Or they're really good at being birds. I don't know. They might be stupid enough to look that stuff up.
They can't fly.
No, our Patreon supporters.
Yeah, no, not the penguins.
No, my question is leading. Like, if you were to get one or the other,
Yep.
what would a preference be if the tactical udder can do pretty
It's-
well what the other one does?
The offset is the weight and the bulk.
Yep.
Yeah. So we'll get into collections shortly, but combos and sort of things like that, it's interesting to know where it would fit. It's not because it's not necessarily a case of one or the other, but
Kind of both, isn't it? Because I'm looking at this, it's probably
Two different purpose.
because the
they're
game
different.
changer is probably my favourite rear bag. If I'm going to shoot,
Yep.
longer, extended distances,
Mhm.
the game changer is my go-to rear bag.
Mhm.
Whereas I haven't used one of these in the field, but I'm sort of not really seeing
If you're going to ideally
how
run
I'd
it,
get that to work as a rear bag.
if you're going to run it as a rear, you'd want to take those supports out.
Okay,
Right?
yeah,
So that
yeah,
it'll be a lot
that's-
because it's got too much structure with those supports for a rear bag. You basically would, grab one of the legs, drop out the fill in it, and you use one of the legs there as a rear bag that you can adjust. But
Yeah, okay.
you need this this support on one side come out so that the bag sort of slumps a lot more.
Yeah, okay.
That it's more adjustable and responds better to you.
But I'm going to lose that little piece of aluminium in the bush somewhere.
Leave it at home then.
Yeah, don't take it out in the bush.
Simple. Anyway, so these are.
It'd be interesting to see how one of those would stay on a cage out spotlighting.
Yeah, good.
I think it would do well. It'd be the same as the game changer. I reckon it would
Pretty
do
good
well.
pillow, that one.
Yeah,
'cause the
Trav's
legs-
using it for off-label use as well. Really
the,
good on
the game
fights.
changers are great as
They
well
are
when you
good.
forget your pillow
They're
and you
good to
need to
sleep
sleep. And they're great for the swag use.
Have done that, or if you're lying down at a match. But speaking of pillows,
That too.
oh, sorry. Actually, before we move on to a different bag, there's a green tactical udder. We mentioned waxed ones there, Dutchy. That's a waxed bag, so it's got a little bit more, I guess, a little bit more grip to it. It's not a big chunky layer of wax and such, but it's just a little bit more touchy. Now there is another level of that, which is the sticky stuff that pretty sure the game changer comes in, and that is. I mean, that's ridiculously sticky. You can put that on the leg of a tripod, and it will just stay wherever you put it. That is crazy. But also when Armageddon Gear first brought them out, they were fully sticky, the whole thing, and they were actually a problem because they were
You
too
wouldn't have to
sticky.
move your rifle over it.
Yeah.
It's kind of just dirt.
You didn't really get any movement with it. So I think that they've commonly with at least the pint-sized game changer. But anyway, hit up Loviz and he'll tell you, or Armageddon Gear if you're in the US. And they've gone to like a hybrid canvas and sticky. So some surfaces are one, some are the other, and just sort of the favourable
Kind
ones.
of makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can move the gun along it where you need to, but where it grips is sticky.
Well, you kind of want the top to be slippery.
Yep.
Because that's where you're moving.
Yeah.
But yeah, the underside, I guess if you had the whole of the underside with a higher friction coefficient, it's probably going to degrade its performance as a rear bag if you're trying to,
Yeah,
free
sure.
recoil
Yep.
or something like that across it. But
So many intricacies of these little bags that people have designed. Sweet. Well, shall we move on to the big ones? There's one down here. That's probably the one to grab. The other one's a homemade jobby. So,
What's a homemade? This one.
yep, it's a homemade one. Actually, yeah, grab them both up. So, tell us what you've got there. I did give a clue away before.
A homemade bag.
Tell us about them. What are they like?
They're like a pillow.
Ah,
They're soft.
yep.
what are you trying to
Quite
do?
large compared to the rest of the bags, I suppose, in overall size, sorry. They're rectangular shape, no legs or wings, a lot of handles and accessories on these.
Yep.
Oh, no, not that many, actually.
No, just a couple.
No, just a couple, actually, yeah. This one's
Yep.
got a plastic carabiner on it, which we've heard are fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they just look like a big pillow.
Yeah. Travie?
They are. They're called the pump pillow, actually. So
Wee-
this
there
one's
you
the Weebad pump pillow. So that's their name. They're just a big fluffy bag for filling spaces, really. Anywhere you need to sort of get some extra contact points on your rifle or on your body to secure a position.
Now, I believe I've seen someone use one of these between their elbow and knee to take up space.
Yeah.
Shooting from a kneeling position, possibly.
Travie will give you a rundown on them. Yeah,
Rundown. Oh,
in
pressure's
terms of
on.
when you would use them and that sort of thing.
So basically, I use this anywhere where there's not a lot of rear support on the rifle. So any position where you're sort of above kneeling, where you can't get your elbow onto your knee, or where you've really got not much in the area between your ribs and your shoulder. The good thing about these, they've got the two straps on the top with elastic bands on there, so you can actually slide them up onto your arm and clamp them on. So basically,
I think that's how I saw someone.
Yeah, so you don't have to worry about holding
it.
them, and then your rifle can sit on there, or you can sort of crouch in a position and just fill that whole gap up and really make it quite a lot stable. So
I've seen a lot less people these days use their arm through the strap. So there's generally the carabiner on them and a hook, often with a sash or a strap around them or a belt or something, so they can just move them to wherever they want and then piss them off when they don't need them, which is one of the big things because they're big and they get in the way.
yeah, that's one thing that I've worked out. Same thing. I used to use it on my arm quite a lot, and now I've worked out that the strap's long enough to get on your belt buckle. So just on one of your belt loops on your hip, and then you can just lift the bag up and it's in position and drop it away. And you can sort of, if you're shooting something prone and then changing positions, it's never in the way there. And it's
And they're not that
attached
heavy.
in.
That's another thing I should.
No, lightweight. They adjust.
I don't know if I mentioned that in my description. They're quite light,
Very light.
You can use it again as a front bag as well. So
a kilo,
rifle,
maybe,
right?
maybe not even.
Not even.
You can hit people with them.
Hit people with them. Yep.
And they still like you afterwards because
No.
they're really light.
So that, like, I've got a longer strap on this one, so that it can really get it out the way when need be.
It's quite amusing watching somebody that's not particularly familiar with using a pump pillow,
Yeah.
a pump pillow for the first time.
Yeah.
It's all sorts of awkward. They're always in the way, and they're a real one of those ones that you actually kind of need to practice with.
So
Otherwise, it's just going to cause pain.
They're probably the one that you got to spend the most time with. I'd
Definitely.
suggest, because they're often underutilized by many people. So if you often see those reverse inclines, so where you are setting up the incline, and depending on the height of them, a lot of guys will run them between their knees and actually shoot with the gun resting on their knee, and so it just props up space. It just gives you a little bit more room wherever you need it, and a really stable way of filling space, filling voids, and that's where they become very useful. And I've seen a lot of creative use of them, which is really what they're about. They're just big and bulky and generic, and you can get double size, single size. You can actually weebad do a variant where you can open it up and you've got 3 bags internally, so you can take one of them out and just have it like a bit smaller, that sort of thing.
What have they named that one? Just for people playing at home, seeing as these names are all
I'll
hilarious.
go and find the name for you.
Yeah.
I'll go find the name for
I
you.
like the tactical udder. It's not what I would have called it, but mine wouldn't have got through.
tactical titties. Is that what you're going with?
I was something about penguins. 4-pack of penguins. It's too long, isn't it?
I'm penguin choker.
Good. Oh, well, we sponsored for our benefit. Well, no, we're allowed to talk about them because they're banned, aren't they? They're probably illegal.
Penguins.
Penguins are banned,
They're
aren't
dirty little animals as well, by the way.
they? I am on
They're
Weebag's
the
website.
rats of the ocean, like pigeons are
Oh,
the rats of the sky.
They're the deviants
Are
of
they?
the ocean. Oh, yeah.
I've watched Happy Feet. I've just assumed that they're
I
merry.
think
And
Happy Feet gives a misleading
I haven't watched
representation.
Happy Feet. I just know that's got penguins in it.
Modular modular pump pillow. Oh, I just stepped on chips. Modular pump. It's
Are
true.
they called?
That's the name of the bag. There you go, Dave or Robert, if you're listening. The next bag's got to be called I Just Stepped on Chips.
I just stepped on chips.
Right, modular pump pillow.
Chip bag.
Bag of chips, mate. Bag of
There
chips.
you go.
That's a good way. Modular pump pillow, which I've now said about 7 times.
Oh, what's that?
You get inners for those, and so you can pad them out or bring them down or whatever whichever way you do it. And then they've got a tack pad, which is sort of a half size one. All sorts of stuff. So there is no end of bags, which is why we often get asked, what bag should I buy? And you go,
You don't say the real name, you just describe it.
Yeah. So that's a selection of bags. That's what we pulled together fairly quickly. There are heaps more bags. There are Weebad, some of the ones are like the Range Cubes from Weebad. They're really good. They're sort of like a round type, they probably see as a hybrid. They can be used as a pump pillow, but they're quite weighty. So they work as a different bag or whatever it is, but that sort of thing. Pump pillows are great because you can throw them at people. And then, all sorts. There's all sorts of bags and options. And the one that I would have liked to have is the low-vis can bag, the Mark III can bag, which is basically, it's like the Solo Sack, but a lot smaller. Not as dense either.
About the size, I don't
like of a can.
Of a
funnily
can,
enough, yeah, similar size to a can. Hence the name.
If you got 4 of those,
Yeah.
they could dig up a dolphin catcher.
What they need to do is they need
You'd
to
have
make him.
yourself.
They need to make him detachable from your tactical ladder, so you can just
go.
pull your can out.
But then all your mates will come around, and then you won't have any left.
You just have the 2 reinforcement bars and the strap. Good. So what about you've alluded to collections and what bags would you get and all that sort of gear. Travie, you've got a bag full of bags there. What I mean, that's probably the one thing we haven't talked about is a bag to put your bags in that does often get used as a bag. Dutch, you'll like this one because you can actually put stuff inside it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a multi-purpose.
Let's not skip over that. That's a really important part of the setup.
Yeah, so the backpack itself is actually quite a handy bag in some matches as well. Your service rifle matches, for example, or some PRS matches. They've sort of, you needed that extra height on like you said, a reverse incline platform or something along those lines. So that's a good chance to throw all your pump pillows and everything inside there and stack the bag right out. So that is quite a handy one, because if you've got 3 or 4 bags, you don't want to be sort of fumbling around in between each stage, carrying bags, walking along the firing line, etc. So
Often used on tank traps. Throw them in the middle of the tank trap and shoot off that if you're allowed to shoot from the middle.
that's it.
That works. What bag have you got, by the way?
Mine is a Patriot patrol bag.
Okay.
So yeah, it's a 50-litre bag, I think. An entry-level sort of bag, but does the job.
Good.
Got plenty of storage.
I think mine's a 511 Rush. I'll get the number wrong, but anyway, it's sort of the mid one, I think. Bronte, have you got a backpack that you use that you can remember the name of it?
I've got 2.
Oh,
they're
Flash.
511, and I can't remember what they're called.
Cool.
That one's way too big, but it's good if you actually needed to pack
Go somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's like a patrol bag or some rubbish like that. It's actually a really comfortable backpack as well. Like it's got like the gut strap, the middle strap, and the
So you
padded
just
shoulder.
don't like the name of it.
I
The
just-
patrol or something rubbish like that. What do you think they could have called it? The
The gut strap bag? I don't know.
eight dead endangered waterfowl capacity rucksack
Bag limit.
carrying receptacle. Yeah, bag limit.
bag
There you
limit,
go,
yeah.
bitch.
So, anyway, combinations of bags. That's sort of set up. What do you run, Travie? What's your...
So I run the 3 that I've got here today. Just the low vis gear bag, the fortune cookie, and the pump pillow. So I made a very conscious decision when I started shooting to start with a select group of items and just learn to shoot with them, and then figure out if I need to change from them. So
Are you colour coordinated as well?
well,
Nice.
yeah, I didn't want sort of camo sort of stuff, but ended up with it because that's what was around.
Cryptic
So
height,
cryptic, yeah.
Highland, cryptic.
But yeah, you got to keep them all the same, so everyone knows because they are.
And the tan. Yep.
But yeah, I'm at that stage now where I'm trying to work out, okay, do I want to try a different bag? Do I want something a little bit different in my setup?
That's interesting. So-
coming to the end of my first season in the PRS, so you just
So what's got your attention then? Is there something you're missing or a gap? Because you've got a pump pillow which will use to fill your negative space and bits and pieces. Your fortune cookie, which I'm guessing is your most used bag. You use in barricades and probably as a rear and stuff. And then you've got the low vis one there that you can deploy when needed on a prone stage, or if you have to lightweight or whatever it might be.
yeah. So what I'm sort of looking at is probably a mini. What are the mini game changers called? The
The pint size.
pint size game changer. Yeah, something a bit smaller for a front bag. That's when you're standing there, your next shooter in line, you're carrying a fortune cookie. It's quite a heavy bag, and I mean, not a lot of fatigue, but there is a little bit there. Sort of when you get onto the stage and you're generally trying to hold it all with one hand to get a magazine in and get your chamber flag out, etc.
Yep.
So I'm at the point where I'm thinking it might be nicer to have a smaller bag just for that sort of usability from time to time. On a stage where you know you've got enough time limit to get your shots off, the heavier bag is good because it stays in position and it locks itself in. But yeah, a smaller bag is quite a lot more maneuverable. So that's sort of probably the next way I'll go.
Okay. What about yourself, Bronte? What's your setup that you would run regularly?
Basically, the Game Changer is probably my most used bag, and then one of the SAP bags, whether it's the running gun or the other one, they're probably basically they're the three. I've got two of the SAP bags, and the Game Changer, they're my three most used bag. I've got a pump pillow thing as well.
Don't use it.
Never used it.
Okay.
Yeah, I bought it because I thought it'd be a good idea, and then
haven't put into use.
It's a handy seat between stages, just when you're on a rest.
Yeah, maybe for you, but you don't weigh anything.
No.
Yeah, if I sat on that, it might not be much of a. It won't be a pump pillow. It'll be a flat pillow. Good. Any bags that would you sort of see a need for, or your gaps are covered, Bronte?
I'd be interested to give the tactical udder a crack. I think that would have some advantages. But it's quite similar vein to the Game Changer. So they kind of be looking at swapping it out for the Game Changer essentially.
See if it's a swap. Yeah. One thing I was going to mention earlier that we got distracted about something, Penguins probably, is the Bison also make lightweight fills. So the obviously originated with the tactical udder being a 4 kilo bag or thereabouts. You can take out the top, take out about a kilo worth of fill and then put in this really lightweight sort of little bag that just goes in there and that just takes up the space. So it brings it down to the weight of a Game Changer. But still gives you the full size sort of experience, although it's a bit puffy. It's like a little pump pillow on top, so you get a little bit of a different dynamic.
Because that would still have enough weight in those little udders to hold it on the
still got 3 kilo
barricade or what have you. Yeah.
And you also look at where the centre of gravity is as well. It's going to be essentially below the support point, so it's going to be a pendulum effect and it's going to sit nice and...
Yeah, so that's one thing, and then they've also made them for the Game Changers as well to sit at the top of the Game Changer to remove. I don't know how much it directly removes, maybe half, 0.6, 0.7 of a kilo out of the Game Changer and turns it into sort of taking up space. So maybe about 0.6 at a guess. So it just sits along the top.
Would that keep it more rigid in the top as well? Like you said, it's an actual insert. Would that make that top area a bit more
soft,
rigid?
It'd be like putting a little mini pump pillow into the top of your Game Changer. So it'd be a different dynamic how it would sit, but it would still, like the bottom end, it'd lower that centre of gravity and it would still
would
work
be good,
well. Yeah, so they're just some interesting stuff. So myself, I've run that SAP running gun bag for, 4 or 5 years now. I used to use the Tab Gear bags years ago and I moved across to the SAP one. I have a Game Changer. I got that pink Game Changer, which has been excellent. But now I'm in the same boat. I'm going to try the tactical udder a lot more now that they've sort of here and settled. I like the Fat Boy version, so I'm going to give that a go. Seems fitting as well, the name. But I'm going to put a lightweight kit in it so we can bring it down.
Okay.
The other one I'd be really interested in getting would be, what I might do is I might move from the Game Changer to the udder and then get a pint-sized Game Changer that's a half sticky, half canvas.
Yeah, I
so
see
then
that.
That's and then I got the pump pillow, so that's 4 bags, but it's 4 bags with very very different purposes. So your pump pillow is, as we talked about, what it does, fills positions, and then the SAP bag is very much just a rear bag for now. The mini, what it's called, pint size Game Changer would serve the purpose for that sort of more on the move, smaller sort of front end. And then if we're going to sit on a post or sit on a barricade for a few more shots, or there's not lots of movement, the udder would get deployed. So yeah, that's probably what I'm gonna go to. So I'll have to hit up Jim this weekend at Shot Expo and get stuck into it. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, what have you learnt, Dutchie? Anything useful?
A lot of useful things. I wouldn't. I really would have liked to have seen a mini Game Changer or the pint size Game Changer or whatever it is and feel the weight of it.
Sure.
Because I feel like those game changers are quite large and quite
They are big.
quite heavy.
Yep, they are.
And just as a comparison, it would have been nice to feel them. For me, I'd probably be looking at one of those just rectangular rebag, like crush bag, because everyone seems to run one of them. Seems to be like a good piece of kit to have in your in your backpack. And yeah, like I said, with the game changer, be it the pint size or mini version, or maybe the tactical udder. I don't know. I'd have to,
You'd have to play with them.
yeah, I have to shoot from them rather than just like handle them. Like, oh yeah, I can picture that staying on a barricade while I'm trying to shoot from it. But then you get out there and it just slides off. I think it's going to be one of those. Just come out and try it, see what one works, see if other people are having more success with something else. But I've learnt a lot.
Yeah. That would be always my advice is, guys will ring up and say, oh, I'm shooting my first PRS match. What should I bring? Or what have you got? What have you got? And I've got a rear bag. It's a sock with rice in it. Awesome. Bring that and then speak to the guys in your squad. And pretty much everyone in the squad, most guys are going to lend you something somewhere because they're proud of their gear and they want to show it off and they want, oh yeah, mate, you knew, yep. Check it out. Is that true, Travie?
It is most certainly, yeah. There's plenty of bags floating around on all the stages. So if you're questioning what you want to try and what you want to buy, just ask the guys on the firing line to have a look. They'll more than happily show you.
Yeah, I think if you say that, guys, oh, look, it's my first time. I'm not really sure what bags. I've got this one bag. What do you guys suggest? You will be flooded with suggestions and options of, oh, here you go, try that.
Absolutely.
So I think that is that don't be shy about that because guys are pretty happy to lend gear, and bags are pretty durable things and they last really well. I'm trying to find a weight for you, Dutchie, on the different game changers.
Okay.
As well.
Probably about a week if you order one now.
No, the standard game changer, it's only a few days, but the pint size is going to be a while, according to the website.
I like what you did there.
Yeah, it was pretty clever.
Yeah, it was, yeah. At first I didn't get it, and then I'm like, yeah.
So the game changer.
Oh, yeah.
The game changer.
Sorry, I just inserted a longer pause than necessary.
Oh, there we go. We've got, so Armageddon Gear have released Git lightweight fill. So that is a lighter weight fill, but I've got no weight listed there for the game changer. Now, the pint size game changer is 5 pounds with heavy fill and 3 pounds with light fill.
So divide that by 2.204 to get to kilograms.
Go for it.
We'll just halve it and take a bit off.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So, yeah, you're talking about, with the heavy one, we'll say about 2 kilos.
2 and a bit, yeah.
Yep. And the other one's a bit,
Does that sit well with you? 2 and a bit? Or do you want to know what it is? 2.21647.
There's some math genius listening to us.
No, it's not.
Then again, there's probably no math genius listening to us. They would have turned it off years ago.
They would have been horrified at my 4-pack.
That was 6 packs.
Yeah, you could fit 2 more in there.
Can't find it. Sorry, and it's not listed there. Anyway, all interesting options, guys. Check it out. Make sure if you get to matches, borrow some gear and ask people to. I mean, don't just take it. Ask gear to ask people to if you can try their bag or whatever it is. And guys are generally really good with that sort of stuff. And I'm sure,
especially if they got a wax sack. Just be careful.
Yeah, just be careful what you ask for. Yeah. So, you can borrow it. You have to come around later to the tent. Yeah.
I'm going to drag it all over you. What? I don't think I understand what he's talking about.
I'll sit it up on a barricade for you. Right. Skill stage 2, that. Yeah. Okay, good. All right. So I think our bag of soda's gone. It's gone. It's definitely done.
The stuffing's fallen right out.
Well done. Speaking of stuffing not falling out, because we're doing a bag episode, and because those tactical udders have arrived, they normally are about $235 or so. So for anyone listening now, if you use the code BAGS on the Projectile Warehouse website, you will get one delivered for $210.
Nice.
Yeah, so save a little bit of money there while they're kicking around. So if that is one that you want to try, or you've played with one and want some udders of your own, save some money and use the code BAGS at Projectile Warehouse on those to get them for $210 delivered anywhere in Australia. I should clarify that. Yeah. Excellent. All right. Well, what's on the cards, gentlemen, in the next coming weeks? Travie, you got a finale to prepare for.
I do. I'm actually going shooting this Thursday. I've got annual leave at the moment, so I've managed to score an afternoon of shooting. So I'm going to go put some lead down the barrel and see if I can hit some targets.
Good.
And then I'll be loading some ammo for the match. So I think the round count's pretty big this time. So I want to make sure I get them right.
Yep.
So yeah.
Okay, very good. Anyone else got plans? I'm off. I'm leaving. Well, by the time this is all edited and put together, it would have been the other weekend. But I leave tomorrow to head off to Shot Expo
Nice.
in Melbourne. So that's going to keep me busy. Literally, we will be sitting here, loading the van, waiting for some new optics, the Aztec optics, to arrive, and assuming they get here sometime in the afternoon, they'll be thrown in the van and we'll go.
Placed in the van. Oh no,
Sure.
we're doing durability testing.
That's right. Mate, if they can't deal with being
If they can't deal with a courier driver, then they're not going to deal with anything.
No, that's right. That's right. Got to be solid enough for that. So we this is probably too late, but we're having a Friday night catch up over in SSAA Shot Expo on the at some pub with the Hunting HQ boys. So there is no guarantees for anyone's behaviour that evening with those guys involved.
Seems legitimate.
Yeah. Yeah, but anyway, we shall. I don't think I'll get this episode out before then. So sorry, guys, you missed it. It was really good. It's probably the best night we've ever had, ever.
Thanks for listening to the Precision Shooting Podcast. To continue the discussion, check out our Facebook page. And for more information, head to our website, www.precisionshootingpodcast.com.au. This episode was brought to you by Impact Dynamics.